we do have a member of the public here. If you want to have any comments that you want to say, Matthew, or up to you.
Could I save that for later? I'd like to listen first.
Okay, very good. Sure, of course. Are there any communications? Okay. I think, and I apologize for not recalling, I believe the appointment of Sashi was communicated through a letter by the town clerk.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, which we welcome you to the board, Sashi.
Thank you.
The next item is the approval of the minutes. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes of February 19th, 2020?
I saw one thing that
It
it looks like it's a copy and paste issue on the second page.
Oh, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve with
Okay.
one change.
Oh, it's just right, then discussion. We just need a
Yes.
motion.
Yes, it's Barbara.
Um,
I'll motion to approve.
okay, Barbara,
I'll
and a second?
second.
Is there a second?
I'll
I
second.
seconded.
On the second page, the third bullet point is cut off. It looks like it maybe didn't paste right.
Okay.
It ends in the middle of a sentence.
Okay, I will fix that.
Okay, thank you,
Where
Barbara.
are we looking at?
In the approval of minutes.
Right.
One second.
You said on the second page?
Yeah, the third bullet point.
Yes, that isn't an incomplete
Yeah.
sentence, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
staff on, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will fix that.
Okay.
Oh, I think there's a misspelling of your name. Jennifer, wait a minute. Jennifer, I think your name is misspelled.
Okay,
Or maybe not. Maybe it's the I is just too close to the M. It's the font. I take it back.
okay,
The font. All right.
all righty, perfect.
Any other corrections to the minutes? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of the minutes as corrected, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstaining? Okay, thank you. Minutes are approved.
Just one
Jennifer?
quick
The second was
question.
Carol?
You know
Was-
what, Rosemary?
Chuck was the one who seconded that?
Actually,
Chuck or
Chuck
Hallie, I
and Hallie seconded.
Yeah,
I
we
think Hallie
both
got to it
just do.
first.
Okay.
You can choose.
Rosemary, because of your being unable to hear very well, we asked if Barb could do the minutes today so you don't have to worry about it.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Just
Okay.
because it's a little, for you to be, we
Right,
don't want you to.
Yeah, I can't see. Okay,
You
that's
can't
fine.
see who's saying this. Okay, hold on a sec.
I will
Okay.
just listen quietly. Okay,
Or speak up when you need to.
Oh,
I
no,
can relay
participate.
message.
My goodness.
okay, thank you, Barbara.
My pleasure.
I was trying to hear and write.
Yeah, you're off the hook today.
So Jennifer, you get to do statistics and your report in any order you would care to do so.
Okay, so regarding the monthly statistics,
Was it-
even though the monthly, the statistics, is that
That's
what
an
you're on?
Excel sheet that was emailed.
Yes. What I noticed is even though we had a short month, and February is a typically short month, overall our numbers are doing fairly well. And I say that because in recent months there's been dips here and dips there, but pretty much every number is positive. It's actually up from the previous year. And it's interesting to see, one thing we've talked about really delving into is the Google My Business or the Google Analytics. And for the simple fact that, our search capabilities on this are amazing. We've doubled our numbers from last
Wow.
year. So in other words, like 10,000 people have been reviewing things on the Google page. And now we're up to like 20,000 hits. So, and that's everything from asking, directions, phone calls, um, asking questions. So it's quite obviously that this is a very good marketing tool to really hone in and focus on. So we're going to be putting some attention on that this year.
Right.
But that was definitely something that really jumped out at me. And it's very nice to see too that our statistics, for all the downtrodden conversation we've had in the past about, it's taken a dip, it's taken a dip, it's taken a dip, we're up. So I wouldn't say by drastic numbers, but we are certainly seeing more circulating items than we have in the
Jen?
past. So yes.
Does it matter that there was an extra day in February this year?
I don't necessarily think so, because like last month in January, and I'm only quoting January because I was looking at statistics for the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
January, we were actually closed on a Sunday, and
Right.
it seemed to have some ramifications, but I couldn't correlate that. I mean, the advantage in February, at least with children's, is we had a very popular program that we have every year, that Take Your Child to Library Day.
Mm-hmm.
And in recent years, we've always had about 200 people come. We had like close to 500 people come,
Wow.
this year. So that could maybe have more to do than the extra day.
Okay.
So, but it's nice to see that, like I said, for so many months, we've been saying, that, oh, we're taking another dip, but, things are starting to even out a little bit. So, other than that, I don't really see the other big jump would be the downloadable, as I tell you every month. We see some increases. So clearly digital, especially now, the digital collection is getting some really good attention, and we're adding more titles, especially being close to the public right now. We're putting full attention on our digital checkouts.
Jennifer, I did notice that there were, it was down in the acquisition of print for adults and children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Was that just kind of an anomaly, or is that?
I can tell you what's interesting, at least some things we've been noting. We use a book vendor, Baker and Taylor, and they do the majority of our ordering through them. And a lot of things are turning where we can't get certain items because they're printing in a digital format now. So we're seeing a lot of changes in the industry alone about print versus digital. We're still, we're putting attention to the collection where it needs to, but there's only so many things that we find that would be of interest to our public, or because we do a lot of looking at circulation, what's circulation the highest, but we're seeing more attention being put on digital items and print items. I don't want it to come out that we're not buying any more printed books. It's just one of those things with our vendor is, it's cheaper, obviously, to go digital. Mm. And the quality that we're seeing on some of these books is not that great. We sometimes send back some things because the quality is, the binding we know is going to break quicker than having a digital item, circulate 6 times. So we're trying to find an even balance to give both mediums, their importance. But I don't have a necessarily reason why there's been a little dip. It could also be because, we're doing a little more collection cleanup. And so there's, I don't want to say less stuff being ordered, but more attention to what we're deselecting rather than what we're selecting right now. So we can get an idea of what we need to buy as we move along.
Catherine, were you going to say something? Your picture kind of, did you have a comment about statistics? No?
No, the only thing I noticed was a big jump in the ebooks and magazines, which this month should be even more impressive.
Yes, I have to say that's a good observation. I'm very interested to see what our digital collection's going to be like next month. Because obviously we have closed certain things off, print wise. So it should be interesting to see what's being checked out. And the good thing about Overdrive or our ebook, e-audio collection is we can really see a lot of analytics with that too. Rather than having to just run reports. Our vendor really, you can delve into, how many holds people have. So you want to order more of that. You want to see, collection items that people are really interested in, and then you can put some attention to that. So it's kind of like how I was talking about Google Analytics. You can get a lot of information and purchasing by what people really their demands are, rather than combing through a lot of printed reports through our, our Cersei software system for the printed materials. So it should be interesting.
Any questions about statistics? Anything else? Just you want to move on to your
Yes,
report
please.
then, Jennifer?
Wait, Rosemary wants to ask a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is it robust enough to support a much increased demand? If everyone is trying to log on and get the ebooks, are there enough possible choices?
Well,
people
Could you
think that they're
repeat
going
the
to
question?
be, like not available?
sure. So Rosemary basically asked.
Excuse me, Jennifer. Jennifer,
Yes.
could you repeat the question so we could hear it?
Yes, what Rosemary's asking is that.
Please.
Yes. So what she's asking is, are digital selection robust enough to be able to, generate the checkouts that people want to check out? Do we have enough? And is it the platform? Can the platform, help people to check these items out? I think what we're really putting attention on, since we are closed to the public right now and can't check out our printed materials, we've got two things going for us. One is we set the way our funding comes in, we set aside certain amount every month for ebooks and e-audio. So we're paying special attention and putting money a little more ahead of the game during this time in order to have enough for people to be able to check out. So I think yes, and we're also looking at, is anybody requesting anything? Is anybody putting lots of holds on something so we can get either more copies or be able to purchase those things very quickly? So yes, we're paying special attention right now to our digital collection, what people are asking for. We haven't, knock on wood, we haven't seen any, crazy, everybody wants this book and there's a really big line in order to facilitate that. The good thing I've told you in the past is we have two collections, one that we share consortium-wide, and then a collection specifically for Groton users only. And so I think we're fulfilling all of our Groton patrons' needs right now, and we're offering even more than we've had before. So to answer your question, Rosemary, yes, I think we have enough, and we're keeping attentive every day. We look at it to make sure that, there's no bottlenecking, basically. So, because clearly we want that. The other thing I was going to note too is there's a lot of our state library has opened up the doors to allowing more people access to the digital collections. You used to have to sign into the state library to with your library card. They're just allowing people to just get right on without a library card and just access more materials. So there's another way for people to get some digital materials without having a library card. So
I had a question.
yes.
I don't use the downloadable stuff much, only when I travel, and it's been a while. I noticed when I went on there that when I was asking for specific books, quite often they weren't available, but then I could get into a place where it said what was available. And I'm just wondering if people who are new to this can see that really easily and quickly, because that was the best way for me to go in terms of getting things without running into availability problems. If that's not
Yes.
really obvious on the website and I can't remember, it might be worth putting that out in the next newsletter or something.
Absolutely. One issue that we found that we're hoping, I wish it could be overnight, but the state is developing a application where our Overdrive catalog with all of our ebooks, as well as the state catalog of ebooks, everything is merged into one. So it's one place to access all your digital collection with like 2 steps rather than having 52 steps. So they're putting a lot of attention right now on making that happen because it is confusing. And one thing we've tried to make clear, and we keep putting out Facebook messages, etc., that if you don't have a library card and you want digital access, call us even right now and we'll get you a card. Call us right now. We're available. We can talk you over the phone on how to do the Overdrive, like to, check things out. And also, there's an option within Overdrive where you can request items that we don't currently own. And I would highly suggest you use that because we will buy it. If you request it, we're going to get it right now. So yes, it can be rather convoluted, and we will take a look at that to see if we can make it a little bit easier for people.
Great, thanks.
Yes.
Sashi,
So, so how do you actually decide? I mean, let's say 10 people asked for 10 books. I mean, you have a limited budget. Do you
Right.
buy 10 books? I mean, 10 digital books?
How it currently works is there's the couple things that we look at first. We look at the account overall, and if 10 Groton residents have put the same book on hold, we're buying it because that's obviously a hot item, and we don't want people to have to wait a long time for that. So that would be the first thing. Second thing would be if, like I said, like I mentioned, there's an option in there that says, do you want to see this book added to the collection? We look to see how many people have clicked on it in order to, buy it. So we go through a couple parameters first before, clearly we're not going to buy every single thing in the world, but we go down a category list, hot ticket items, cold items, and then we go through what people are interested in. I do have to say the e-audio is very expensive. Out of all the things that we buy, it's probably the most expensive. And of course, that's the highest demand right now because CDs obviously are falling by the wayside because people are buying vehicles that don't have CD players anymore, and they may not have a CD player in the home. So, I told you before, we're looking at putting more attention to our digital collections because of the demand. So we're trying to balance that right now.
Carl,
But
you have
we
a
do have
question.
we do have a criteria. Yes.
Carl, you have a question.
Yeah, I recall having some of this conversation in the past, and that I think that some of it depends also upon the actual book or audio that we're talking about, because some are available for limited times for a certain amount of money, and then they expire, and you need to renew them, and it's kind of a flowing thing.
Right, that is actually very true. Some of the things that we've purchased in the past, we have a new person on staff who is purchasing and reviewing our account, and it's somebody who is very in tuned to our booksellers in town at Bank Square Books. And so we have, seeing the demand of what people are purchasing there and what people are interested in. Also what people's demands are on print. We're looking at all of those things, and she's completely revamping the way we're looking at how we're purchasing and what we're purchasing. We had a lot of old things that we just kept renewing as subscriptions, essentially, and we're getting rid of those to make way for the things that people individually really want. So.
Sasha, you have another follow-up question?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay.
So if you're interested in something, make sure you say that you're interested. If you're in Overdrive and there's something that you would like to see in our collection, we'd be happy to take a look at that.
So, bring us back here. More activities, Jennifer, that you want to share? Let's see, I think we are looking at the agenda. We've been through statistics. We,
So the
on
activities,
page 6, I think it's the library director activities, filling the positions and so forth.
Yep.
Anything you want to say about those, or any questions
just
about
really,
those
really
items?
quick, I wanted just to mention that we're very fortunate. We had two new members join us, and our financial assistants doing a heck of a job. And his name is Patrick Wall, and we have Liam O'Donnell, who's our new municipal video technician. And boy, let me tell you, he started on last Monday when we were just closing. So he's been really put in the fire, and he's learning a whole bunch of new things with Sean. So, you know, with all this Zoom and filming offsite. So it's been very interesting to say the least. And then of course, we had to do some small upgrades to our internet service provider, and we're continuing with that as time's wearing on. We want to upgrade all of our internet services to have really good bandwidth. So when customers come back, they have that. So,
Is there any question about the library director's activities? Otherwise, we'll move right down to the library activities. Okay, do you want to continue, Jennifer, with talking about what all the library did last month?
I think I mentioned one of the things that we noticed, you know, the programs and things. We had quite a few big events, and I'm happy to report that the New London Day has been very active in posting a lot of our programs and things that we've been doing here. In fact, I think I sent over, I don't know if you all saw the article just recently about, you know, closure, and they were very interested in what libraries were doing overall. But it was nice to get a shout out because, you know, during this time, attention obviously is focused right on health right now. So they were interested in us, in our business and what we do. So, but that Take Your Child to Library Day was very exciting this year because we had a magician show up and word got around. And like I said, we're pretty popular on that day, but boy, it was double the fun this year. So it was really nice to see all the families that came to participate. So yeah, so. And we completed our first winter reading program. That was something that Rosemary, thank you for a great idea. People really responded to it, and we're hoping to do another one next year. So yeah, people were pretty excited about it. So I keep on with that.
Are there any comments or suggestions or anything you'd like to say about the activities of the past month, board members?
Did you participate in the basketball game, Jen?
Unfortunately, I did not. I don't think I could keep up. I don't have the physical endurance. They did a wonderful job. Oh, the teens. I don't know if you saw the article, but you see the front page of the kids laughing. Well, right. I think that says it all. I have to say, they were so gracious and kind to the staff. They were letting staff members take extra baskets. How kind are they? You know?
Kitty baskets.
But it was a great team departmental collaboration. I think that was the best thing that came out of that. And the teens had a good time, so.
Okay. I think what we'll do, we have new business, which is update on the COVID-19, and then also budget. And then I think if we do the budget second, then we can just roll right into old business, which is the RTM open house, and also what we want to do in terms of communicating to our counselors and RTM members in lieu of a public hearing, what we want to do to communicate. So if that's okay, do you want to, we'll move into new business, and Jennifer, you're still in the hot seat there.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to kind of give you an
any
update.
comments that the board has about the COVID-19 too, please. This should be a collaborative conversation.
just wanted to let everybody know we're still obviously closed to the public, the library, and many of the town departments. I believe I sent this out that we did, if you haven't driven up to the library or seen us on Facebook, but we did close our book drop. And we just recently, the other day, extended all of our items. We've renewed everything. We had, the first date was April 6th, and now it's May 1st, because we don't want anybody, out and about, first of all, and secondly, they shouldn't be worrying about library books at this point. We're doing a lot of behind the scenes things. We've got plenty of projects around here, the things we always hope to get to, of course. We're redoing the collection, we're shifting things around, we're cleaning everything. So it may be a little bit different when you walk in here the next time you come in.
Callie, you have a
Yeah, Jen, you closed the book drop.
Yes.
Is that so that you don't have, because there's nobody to handle it, or are there health concerns? And when the book drop does open, will the books be, every single one of the items returned, be wiped down? Because you don't know.
Well, I can tell you the reasoning to shut it down was, yes, we got scientific reports that, the virus supposedly stays on 72 hours on things like plastic, and believe it or not, how books, they're that plastic vellum type.
Right.
So we were just concerned about people going in and out of there. Sometimes they come back nasty anyway.
Yeah.
So plus we were concerned about two things. One, hauling them in every day, who, if by chance any closures happened, who was actually going to be doing that. And then the secondary part of that was, you just being cautious about who's touching what, and would we have enough supplies to do so. And then if we're, believe it or not, the first day that we closed the book drop, we didn't tell anybody to the end of the day, because we just figured we'd make it at night. And it was so full. I mean, you couldn't even flip the flap open to put any more books in. And, the concern was too, is if everybody brings their book back, at least, an eighth of our collection is out at any given time. Where are we going to put these books?
Yeah. But when they all do come back after you open the book
Yes.
drop, will they be individually cleaned?
We have thought of that, and we're thinking that might be something we're going to do. We did it with the ones that we did bring in that day. We let them sit for 3 days, and then we cleaned them all. But we had gloves on and masks, so we're definitely going to have a plan in motion for that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Carl?
One thought I had is that you could expose the books to an environment that the virus cannot sustain. Put them into a walk-in freezer or something like that.
Yeah, we could. That's a good thought. We put them in. We left them in the bin actually, and we put them into the meeting room just to sit. We just didn't touch them. We, as things are developing too, we're finding different methods by which we can do.
You're breaking up,
things.
Jennifer.
Yeah, I can't hear.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're trying to read as many reports as we can, and taking, all the information from Ledgelight. So we're trying to really stay on top of everything, because every day it changes, every minute. But we want to ensure that everybody's safe. That's my biggest concern. So we're fortunate that we have such a big library, because we're all, in our own little corner doing our job. So that's helpful.
Any other questions or comments about the COVID? Well, thank you, and thank all your staff on behalf of certainly myself, and I want to say the board, for coming to work and
Well, thank you. The other, oh, go ahead. Who's talking?
No, I just said absolutely. Thank you.
Well, I do have to say too, another good thing is we've been in very good close contact with Mystic and Bill and Waterford. We've been helping each other out over the phone, trying to make decisions, global decisions about renewing items or shutting book drops, just so we're on the same page and customers aren't thinking one's open, one's not. We've all been very collaborative, so I'm pretty happy about that too. It helps. It helps the patron or the customer, so.
Okay.
Matthew's
Marie?
trying to chime in here.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
Thank you. As one thing I have not seen in the publications that you shared in advance that I think is related to COVID-19. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. In my other role doing chaplaincy, one of the things I've noted over the last years is the role of the library in offering a safe and welcoming place for the elderly and the isolated folks to congregate. And COVID-19 has only accentuated the social, both physical and emotional isolation of at-risk populations, and they can't use the library. So I don't know that the library can directly mitigate such feelings of social isolation. But if you'd allow me as a non-board member to share just in a minute or so something that I hope that anybody who's watching this can handle with their own organization. I'm referring in particular to outreach strategies that I know are being used by a veterans group and several faith-based communities in Groton. So speaking only for myself and in no way representing the board, I would urge folks who are members of, whether it's a golf club or a bridge club or the Left-Handed Octopus Association, which we also dearly love, if you have a network of people, and amongst your network of people, there are individuals who are either frail, have chronic conditions, isolated, a little bit emotionally squirrely, to use a scientific term, your organization can designate several members, identify those people who are at risk, and make sure that somebody in your organization actually assign to Mary or to Tom person A, B, and C, and give them a call once a week. Maybe we'll identify somebody who's ill, who we wouldn't have known because he or she is isolated, or can't get I managed to help somebody get a medical prescription. People just did not know how to do it. So within your own organization, your own network of friends, anything we can do to help people feel attached and not abandoned. And it has nothing to do with the daily functioning of the library at this time. But you do, when you talk to the board about funding, let's not forget this social aspect the library does. It may not be on your written list of objectives, but it's nonetheless very, very real.
Matthew, if I can just jump in, what you just said is so important. And one of our key, and you can see right on the website, library website, one of our key missions, and I say multiple, of the library is community outreach. And I think your suggestions are well taken, very well taken.
There are a number of ways to follow up on this community outreach. We're lucky enough in most parts of Groton to have a municipal utility. And one of the things the municipal utility does with me at any rate, I'm sure not with you, is I get a bill every month. And that envelope in which the bill comes is a great opportunity, because I've seen in other places where an institution such as the library can make an arrangement for once every 2 or 3 months to have a single sheet of paper added to the bill in which we can communicate library functions, library goals, something new that's happening, and activities without having a significant added expense. I throw that out as a way of further outreach.
That is a good point. And something I did want to remark on as you were talking, I was thinking about, we do homebound delivery. And while we have stopped it because we're not allowed to go to those locations, our volunteer who works with each of those homebound people has been calling them regularly to check on them and to make sure they're doing all right. And then the other thing is that we've most of our regulars who need some attention and need some support have been calling us on the regular. We sometimes get 5, 6 calls a day, and we're happy to take them because we do realize that people need to connect with people, and they may not have those people in their lives, and that's why our phones are open. And I think it's duly noted what you're saying, that people can feel isolated, and especially in this crisis, you know, if they don't have families or they're just by themselves. So we are somewhat checking on the regulars. I can't speak for every single person that we service, but we certainly are making an effort to listen and be there for them. So thank you.
All right. If there's any more about the COVID-19 situation in the library, we can move right into budget, and then followed, I think it almost kind of blends the two topics of old business, RTM open house, and then also what we may want to do in terms of advocacy for the public hearing. So Jennifer, again, I'm going to ask you to kind of take the lead on, is there anything new with the budget we need to know about? And then we would talk a little bit of your perspective of the RTM and on the board members as well, how that went, the open house. And then I did email this afternoon a draft letter that for consideration.
I would think just some recent updates about the budget is we had all of our designated times that we were going to go and present. They're trying right now, from what I just received today, was they're trying to coordinate where the whole entire budget for the council is being addressed on Saturday, this Saturday.
Oh,
so they're going to try to get through all of them on Saturday. And there's going to be people, like counselors are going to decide whether they want to Zoom in or be present in person. And obviously it's all going to be taped as it normally is. So those are the updates I've received so far. I don't know how they're changing the timing, because if they have all of us at the same time, you know, throughout the Saturday, how they're going to designate who goes when. They said they were going to update us with an agenda soon. So I will share that with you as soon as I know, but Saturday is the scheduled date. As for anything else related to the budget, I think I mentioned, and if I have not, we are coming in at 0% increase. We have not asked for any money, and we're keeping it the same as last year, because we've made some adjustments with staffing, absorbing some operating expenses. But it just seemed it works that way. And that's what we're presenting with this year, is the 0%. And that's also inclusive of a contractual raises for the union. It's still not going to be increasing our budget. So, that's really all I have so far.
Mm-hmm. Any comments from the board or questions?
That's impressive.
Is that what the town manager recommended?
Yes, he went with what we've asked for, yes.
Okay.
Is there any reason to believe the town council would want that number?
So I can't hear who's.
Sure, that was Rosemary, and she asked if there's any reason to believe that it would be lowered by council. You know, I am not sure how they're handling their budget priorities this year, but I can tell you that we've made all the necessary adjustments. And like I said, we've also included our contractual raises. So my hope is that they'll understand that we're trying to, you know, not only look for savings and also realize that we're getting the things that we need with the money that we're asking for the good of the community. So that's all we can hope for, I suppose, and present, you know.
Well, with inflation, it's actually a reduction.
Right, right.
And with the raises included, it's also a reduction.
Yeah.
That it is. But you know, I don't want it to be that we were just looking to eliminate things to make it the same as last year for any reason. We just have, I don't want to say we're getting everything we want. We've absorbed things that we need to absorb. We're, looking at our staffing better. Our collections are remaining the same. So we haven't, if there's a need necessarily in the future that we need to put attention to, we're certainly going to advocate for that. But at this time, this seems to work for what we need right now.
Something that just occurs to me is that we don't know what it's going to be 3 months or 6 months from now. And, it's not in the town manager's budget, but if there was some kind of cushion, maybe not dollars allocated now, but some, what if inflation jumps up to 10% in November? You won't be able to make, that the budget that is the town manager's may not be able to carry us through for the full year. This uncertainty, we just don't know. I'm not suggesting that we, contrive an amount. We don't have a crystal ball, but it would certainly be helpful across the whole town to know that perhaps some of this emergency money that's coming in through the federal government be set aside. There's some kind of creative thinking that would give assurance that the Groton Public Library budget, which, as our board member said, is not only zero, it's negative because the account doesn't that number doesn't include raises and inflation. That we have some kind of assurance that
the town has a reserve fund, doesn't it?
Yes. One thing I did want to make mention, though, is they've already mobilized by the town manager putting out a state of emergency. We're already requested by department to list all those items related to COVID-19 emergency shutdowns of financial type of situations that we're paying for because of what we're dealing with right now. So in preparation for federal funding or emergency, management of money, they're already requesting us to start listing out anything that, with our operations to get us set up for if they need to, when they're going to need to request money, like you were asking federally and et cetera, statewide. So we're already looking at that and we're making notations of things. So we can provide that because that's obviously, like you said, Marie, we don't know down the line, but that's what we're preparing for as a emergency fund / I don't want to say slush fund, but to compensate for what the loss is. So we are looking at that now.
Well, and that is applicable to the current budget in that the library and its staff has made extensive use of non-budgeted income to upgrade services and infrastructure, and therefore has a real good history of making use of funds that are available outside of the budget.
The other thing that had originally worried me, and I'm glad it's happening now. We had mentioned about moving our computer software system, the CERSI, the one that checks in and checks out all our materials and is the backbone of our library service. That's been in our Borrow It fund, that state fund for some time. And with all of this happening, it's very concerning leaving something like that in that sub account. And that's why we're moving it over into operating expenses right now. And I'm kind of happy that's happening because we don't know if that state money is going to be applicable. Is that really an emergency fund? Not really. And they say it could be slashed every year. So it's good that we're doing that now. And I could remark on that, that's a significant need. We have to move it. We have to move it now into next year's budget. So.
So Jennifer, you're going to be presenting the budget to the town council this Saturday.
Yes. Yes. And like I said, I just don't know at to what time. They had me at a particular time, but now that they're adding all the departments, they haven't put out the full agenda yet.
And it's through a Zoom meeting or some similar?
Yes, you can anybody can, the participants or the panelists, I should say, will be able to either remote in or they'll be on site. They're encouraging the remote, but I'm planning on being there if possible.
And it will be broadcast immediately, or
it will be broadcast live.
Small delay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So you will be able to watch it on YouTube, GMTV, your normal ways to view that.
So that would be good if you could share the time that when you get your
Absolutely.
time slot. Yeah, so we can watch it.
Will do. That's why I didn't actually send out the Saturday, because they said it was changing. So I said, okay, well, I don't want you to have to be on all day long.
Should we move into RTM update and open house, just RTM open house, and then also what we want to do between now and Saturday in terms of communications or advocacy to the council?
I just wanted to thank you all. You did a fantastic job. So thank you for being there and thank you for participating. I thought I felt very good about just the whole setup and what people were saying, and I think it was very positive. So thanks.
It was amazing how many people showed up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Even though they didn't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a real successful event.
Yes.
I did call Sue Arbach the next day, I think, or maybe the day after, or certainly after, and thanked her and gave her, just the perspective of how important that having the food was, how it just set the tone for conversation and really, I voiced that appreciation for the Circle and Friends donation to it. And she was just so sorry she couldn't be there, but she was excited to hear how successful it was.
Yes, the food was a big hit.
Anything else anyone would like to say about the open house? Should we do it again sometime? Should we?
I think so.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so. Yeah, we should definitely hold one once we figure out when this nonsense is over medically. Maybe we can look at, end of summer, fall, something.
Yeah.
I was very impressed how well spoken the librarians were. I was just so impressed with those who we just kind of invaded their space and brought in RTM members, and they just, I think they're so dedicated to what they do. It came across wonderfully, in my opinion. How did other people?
I thought it was great.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say the staff loves what they do, and it clearly shows, and it's nice to showcase that when people come in and are interested even just a little bit, because we love showing off.
Success. The last item is to talk about advocacy, and I thought that did you all receive the letter that I drafted?
Yes.
Yes, that was very good, Murray.
Just to
Thought so too. Excellent.
Oh, it thumbs up. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Well, I did send it to Jennifer because I wanted to make sure my the facts were straight, and and we sharpened it up a little bit this afternoon. So my, I guess my purpose of writing such a long letter was not to overwhelm, but to give you all some information that you could, if you're willing to do this, obviously write your own letter, but if you want to use parts of what I have, so for example, if putting those bulleted items don't seem as important to you, you could cut it at a certain, before that, or but make any kind of adjustments, make it personal, obviously for your own tone, but I want to put a lot of content in there so that it could be,
Yeah. Yes.
So are you sending that letter to the council before tomorrow's meeting?
I'm going to send that letter to email every council member and every RTM member.
Okay.
I would say, just as a FYI, the council at groton-ct.gov, that will go on public record. So if you send your letter, send it direct to that email, because it'll either A, be read or be attached at least to the public record meeting. So
do you want to give that address again? I know you put.
Sure. It's council at groton-ct.gov.
Okay, so hyphen between Groton and CT.
Yes.
Marie,
Yep.
Can-
Groton,
Marie, that
council
letter was so comprehensive.
at groton-ct.gov.
Does that go to each council member then?
No, they've created that as one message to the council, especially for the public meeting, for the public hearing. So it could be created for the public record. So it's just one statement.
Marie,
Yes.
Yes.
do you think that's a very comprehensive letter?
No.
And rather than getting 10 versions of it, do you think there's any usefulness in sending it on behalf of every board member, so that, because in the interest of time, they're condensing the meetings, there's probably going to be I don't know how much is going to be going on during the hearing tomorrow, and then they're going straight to council to hearings on Saturday. Do you think there's any usefulness in just sending one letter on behalf of all of us?
That's certainly an idea to entertain if the board.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that idea. I think, if we submit one letter as the official testimony, and then if we want to follow up individually before they vote, we could do that, with counselors that we know.
I think that's a good idea too. Getting 10 versions of similar stuff might almost get annoying to them.
Yeah, dilute it. It could dilute the message.
Yeah.
Is there anyone who would not want, and I would put your names,
That's fine.
sign up the
Yeah.
Groton Public Library Board and then list our names. Is there anyone who would not, I don't want to put pressure on you, but if you, let's just say, if you prefer not to have your name on the letter, email me or call me. Otherwise, I'm
I'm
going to
good
make
with
the
it.
assumption if I don't hear from you by tonight. Or tomorrow
I'm
morning.
good with it. I
Not
think
a lot
it's
of
great.
time left.
Perfectly fine.
Right.
Okay, if anyone is not comfortable with that, please call me and within an hour or two after the meeting.
Yeah, I think that's also, just as a side note, a good idea, for the simple fact that I think I've mentioned, I did receive a number already of letters for the people that did want to include me for, they just wanted to say, by the way, I did send something. I was very interested to send a letter or an email. And some people actually attached their letters. I know Sue from the Circle of Friends has already sent one, and she sent it to multiple counselors, and they were like, send it to the counselor email because it's public record. But I guess they all got back to her and responded in kind. And But we've also had some really great responses from people who do programs with us or community members, you know, community organizations supporting us. So that's been helpful too. I think.
Very good. Well, I'll have that out, if not tonight, early tomorrow morning, and on behalf of the board.
Thank you, Marie.
You're welcome. Welcome. I think that's it. Unless there's anything, is there any other business, old or new, that the board would like to bring forward? Hearing
Just
none.
one question.
Oh,
Will
Rose.
the same letter go, is there an RTM joint address? In the way the council has council at Groton, is there something like RTM at Groton?
Not that I'm aware of yet. I think for the one for tomorrow is because it is aimed at the council. I could certainly find out for you all if that they're making something for them as well.
Marie did say she was sending it to the RTM as well.
Pardon me, Hallie?
You also said you were sending that letter to
Yes.
the RTM members.
Yes.
So they'll get the same one with all the signatures.
Right.
I did have one question. I've seen in several places that you're still kind of mentioning the census day. What's going to happen with the census work, given that you can't help people at the library? Is the library able to do anything about that still?
You know, it is something that the only thing that it's unfortunate because it's not like we have laptops to give out or hotspots at this point. And even if we did have hotspots, we'd only have a couple. We don't have 40,000 that we can give out. But I do know that if people do have access to computing of any sort, or if they need something like the internet, I know Comcast, Verizon, and AT&T are offering some free services right now to get you online and keep you online for 60 days. So we're going to be broadcasting something like that out. It's just, if you're broadcasting it on something like Facebook, are those people going to see it? So we're trying to figure out a way. How do you get a message across if people don't have internet?
Oh, yeah.
Like, sign up for internet, but we don't have internet, you know? So we're trying to figure out how we can get that message, you know.
Well, I wonder if the day would be willing to run a little public service announcement if you're up for that.
Thinking that.
Well, that is one. That was a terrific idea. And then we were just talking about, I was actually speaking with Sean, and he said maybe a Google advertisement too, for those people, for the census anyway, not for internet, but, you know, just reminding people about the census and how important it is. Thankfully, we're putting it on all our Facebook. We're getting it out in the media that we have right now, but I think that's a great idea with the day.
Maybe
It'd be nice
with
if
the day, instead of doing the regular paper, put it in the Groton Times, because everybody gets that. It's
Yes,
free.
good point. Good point. That would be really good.
That circulates, I think, to every household in Groton.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm
We
also
can
wondering,
certainly-
can people sit in your parking lot and use the wireless signal? Does that work?
It does. And the only reason why we haven't put a big board outside saying that is because we weren't sure if that would encourage a lot of people. And I don't have a problem. It's okay. But our internet service, the way it's set up in here, I don't, you know, if people want to use it, they can use it. But I wouldn't say that it's really perfect when you're outside. In fact, I'm doing this web view right now in the computer area rather than my office because the wireless is not good in my office. So yes, they absolutely can if they're hooked up. I mean, we have 2 people actually that come regularly and sit in their car and use the service. So that's not a problem. We're not shutting off the wireless, so we're keeping it on. It's just a matter if they can connect properly.
Any other business or questions? Okay, well, I think we were successful for our first
Yes.
Zoom meeting. Thank you.
First
Thank you
one.
all.
Yeah, thank you for participating.
We have a motion to adjourn at, was it
So
5:13?
moved.
Thank you, Hallie. Second?
Second,
Was that Rosemary?
Catherine.
Oh, Catherine.
No.
Sorry.
You're adjourning.
We're adjourning, yes.
Okay, we're adjourned. All those in favor? Hi.
Bye.
All right, I'll be in touch with the agenda dates.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jen.
Stay safe and
Thanks
healthy.
for arranging
you.
this.
Take care.
Bye-bye.